If you've been told, and I've been told, we'll be told all the separate roads will come back around.
Damn it. Rise and shine, Hawks. Another day. Same stupid doctors. Check. Same stupid hospital. Check.
How many times have I told you not to use the spare hospital rooms as an apartment?
Check.
Whoa.
You interrupted me while doing a checklist of what I expect to see when I wake up. I also am telling you to check your own notes to see how many times you've told me that.
I've written you up on multiple occasions. I don't have an exact count in my head, Hawks.
Sounds like a you problem. Anyway, I'm considering this my first offense because all the times you've allegedly written me up have allegedly ended up in the incinerator.
Like your record collection.
That was arson. In the case of write-ups, they've likely never made it to me. Maybe check with my secretary.
You don't have one.
Oh well, that explains why I've never received any write-up from you. It's hard to keep track of pointless bullshit when you're saving lives.
Just get out of this room and get back to work. And take all your crap with you. Next time this happens, I'll suspend you for a week.
From what? Is that a threat?
Shut up!
Good morning, Dr. Hawks. Are you feeling on time today?
Yes. Why do you ask?
We could all hear your alarm that went off 5 minutes ago. Does it need to be that loud?
I have it loud so I can wake up and distract Tracy from doing any actual work to yell at me so people have a reason to blame her for the hospital's problems.
Sounds oddly familiar. Wasn't that from one of your records that Gary melted a few months ago?
It was. And that's why my surviving copy of it on my phone sounds like it was recorded with a potato.
Speaking of which, how's that patient we were working on yesterday?
Jesus Christ, Gary, that's a rather inappropriate segue into that conversation.
Well, that patient, I already don't remember, but from the sounds of it, neither do they.
Just how screwed up are you guys? Even if the patient is still in a coma, that doesn't give you the right to call them names.
I agree with Leslie and Randall. Anyway, I checked on the patient a few minutes ago and nothing has changed.
I thought I banned you from doing that.
You did, but I double-dog dared Frank to go in there and convinced him you wouldn't find out. Turns out Frank is a loose cannon after all.
That's great. Frank, not only are you banned from going into patients' rooms along with Leslie, I'm sending Gary with Randall in hopes he gains actual knowledge on how to treat patients.
And that's despite his inappropriate comment?
I don't really care that he said that. If anything, I'm still torn on whether to fire Frank or Gary. Getting rid of both right now would be great, but I don't have a replacement lined up. Frank's a lost cause and Gary's an asshole, but at least Gary doesn't stick contacts in patients' eyes.
You gotta be kidding. Tell me the last time Frank threw someone's glasses from the roof of a building, burned your record collection, or played the Bad Apple music video on the heart rate monitor by manipulating a patient's vitals. Heck, when was the last time Frank played a drinking game in the operating room every time the patient started coding because the surgeon used pliers instead of scalpels?
Last week.
You're proving my point. Despite Gary being intentionally dense, Frank is hopelessly dense. There's a big difference. Gary has potential. Frank's pissed me off a lot the past year, and Gary at least reimbursed me for the record collection. The colorblind patient from a few weeks ago is now completely blind. Thanks, Frank.
All right, I've heard enough. Gary, let's check on the patient.
So what are Leslie and I to do now that we're banned from the patient?
Just sit here waiting for you to come yell at all of us for getting the diagnosis wrong later, like Gary and Randall used to.
No, you two have a special assignment. From now on, you are going to be paying a visit to the patient's home to check for clues as to why they're not responding well to treatment.
Who's gonna let us into that home though, Hawks? The patient is already here and I don't know where his keys are at.
He's telling us we're gonna break in. Given how long we've been working here, I'm surprised it's taken him that long to come up with such a brazen and illegal strategy.
All right, that's also illegal.
No, it's only illegal if you get caught. Now, do you want to save the patient or not?
Found anything yet, Leslie?
Not much, just a cluttered apartment.
I checked the fridge for expired foods. All of it was, so I threw it out. Thankfully, it's garbage day, so the truck came by and took it.
Remember what Hawk said about you being hopelessly dense?
No, not really.
You just answered my question verbally, and by throwing out potential evidence for the patient's ailments. Just wonderful.
I doubt the expired food had anything to do with the patient.
Besides, Gary and Randall probably have figured it out by now.
I hope Leslie and Frank have figured it out by now. The patient isn't getting any better.
What makes you say that?
The alarms going off suggest that.
Yeah, but did you read what the monitor actually said?
Not yet.
I did, and it does confirm that the alarms are going off.
What about the patient?
It's probably not their fault the alarm is going off, Randall. I wouldn't worry about it.
Wow. Not even a full day, and already you guys are proving we're off to a great start with the new changes.
We try, Hawks. It takes hard work and some good thinking, but we're a good team.
He's being sarcastic, Gary.
We didn't find anything in the apartment that was useful, Hawks.
Leslie already told me. You sorry sack of shit. You threw out all the expired food in the fridge and didn't even take pictures beforehand?
We're sorry, Hawks. This is our first break-in.
Sadly, it's not. Frank has experience doing this, and somehow he's terrible at it. Also, I know you have a record yourself, Leslie. Maybe that post you made on Twitter about your shoplifting adventure several years ago will ring a bell.
Not with the current owner. It won't.
Shut up already, Gary. What Leslie did in the past, she is paid for. And I guess the same goes for Frank.
That's true. Career criminals and test cheaters ending up working for this hospital is punishment enough. Some of us were born here, some of us will die here. How do you guys plan your funerals?
How do you idiots keep going off topic? We have a patient still ill, and no one has a clue what's going on.
We're brainstorming. We're thinking about death in a reverse psychology sense. If one of us suddenly died right now, right here, how would we wish to be handled?
This is a stupid conversation. If I drop dead, dump me in my home's toilet for all I care.
In room 302?
I'm answering the hypothetical. I'm not living there long. Anyway, I'm getting lunch. Hopefully one of you is having their own funeral by the time I get back.
Hey Hawks, how's everything going?
Everyone's being idiotic even when I'm shaking things up. I send Leslie and Frank out to scope a patient's apartment for clues, Gary and Randall to the patient. And they all still screw it up. I can't even figure out what's going on here anymore.
Well, at least we still have our lunches to get through the insanity of the day.
I don't ask enough about you sometimes. How's oncology going?
Same old, same old. They're talking about using some of the money we got from Duke's gift to pay for new research and treatment equipment, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Don't get your hopes up. They've already spent a good chunk of it establishing a board of directors, which was a stipulation in the gift. Apparently he doesn't trust Tracy much.
Maybe because he knows she's the reason you still have a job here. A board would likely be convinced after your investigation that you aren't suitable to keep.
Which is just another middle finger from that guy. I euthanize him, then he decides to continue torturing me beyond the grave. Some thanks.
Say, do you have any plans for Thanksgiving this year despite living in room 302?
I got this big, juicy turkey over the weekend. I'll cook it here and you're free to join me.
That sounds like fun. I think I'll join you for that.
Well, Hawks, how's the patient?
They're getting better. We figured it was a rare autoimmune condition.
Glad to hear it. So, what's this I hear about you lightening the workload for Frank and Leslie?
They've been working hard all year, and I thought it would be nice to let Randall and Gary have more hands-on with the patients.
I don't buy it. What are Frank and Leslie doing in the meantime?
They're reading other medical cases so we can be prepped for tougher ones much better.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
It's a great idea. From now on, we have a cohesive team with a variety of skills.
Just be honest with me. What were Frank and Leslie doing by driving away from the hospital this morning?
Wait, they escaped.
There's no way you don't know.
That must have happened while I was on the way to your office to discuss this case. I won't let that happen again. Thanks for telling me. Stupid idiots.